Don't know where this ended, so we're just going to come and trim up right along the edge. And I may even be able to. Nope. Some upholstery fabrics you cannot rip. Or at least I can't. Somebody, you guys might be able to, but. And you can do, cut apart a pair of jeans, anything you've got. And don't just throw it away if you're gonna sew, craft, because you will find a reason for this fabric. And then you'll be thankful you took the time to pull it apart. Now all I'm doing is going right around where the seam is, getting rid of that bulky seam. And so now I have a flat piece of fabric from that, so we can make something else with that. And then I'll go around and do the same thing with this front section, getting rid of all of this around here. And so then I'll have something new that we can make from it. So now we have to decide, here comes the design factor, what we would like to put on our new pillow. Now she has given me no idea what she wants, so I'm gonna go grab some stuff together and I'll show you what I'm putting together, and then we'll go from there and make the pillow. Hi guys, this is Nancy Lynn. I'm in here. I am just ironing some fabric. I put a little bit of starch on them just to help, because this did have some wrinkles in it, so just wanted to make sure that I got it. You can use any kind of starch. I think I'll look and list it at the end which one this one is. But you just need 2 pieces of fabric for whatever size your pillow is. Once I get this ironed, I'll show you. This is my pillow. And you want to cut your fabric the size of this. So I'm gonna flatten this down, and from one end to the other it's 13.5 inches, and this is a square, so I'm going to be cutting my pieces to 13.5 inches. So that's the first piece. This is the second piece. Do you have to starch your piece? No, you could just use water on it. Just anything to help take the wrinkles out. I just like the crispness of the fabric once we get all of this done. Alright, I'm going to put my iron over there, get rid of my ironing surface. And now we're going to cut our pieces. I'm going to cut both of them at the same time. And now on here I'm going to look for 13.5. I'm going to put it right here. This is a Fiskar cutting, and I got this at one of my quilt guilds one day. Somebody was getting rid of it, and I just absolutely love it. I would say 95% of the time it works great. All you do is put your hand on it, run it through, and it cuts beautifully. Now I'm going to take my fabric, turn it. We're going to do the same process. Let's see, I want this end on the cut end. I want to line up my pieces. Put it on 11, 12, 13 and a half. And I'm just right about there. It's just this black fabric that's a little bit, I had kind of pre-cut. So now I have 2 pieces of fabric. I'm going to put them right sides together. And I am going to trim off, I have one fuzzy edge over here, and I am going to cut that. Just to get rid of that. Okay, so now we have 2. We have them both together. And now let me get some pins. And you're going to pin them together so that they'll stay together. This is the simplest form of making a pillowcase. I'll show you a couple of different types. Now at one end we're going to leave an opening, and I want it big enough, so I'm probably going to leave about 2.5 inches from either side that I'm going to leave open. This side and this side. So we've got 2.5 inches here, and we're not going to sew in this portion. We're going to start here, sew all the way around, and then I'll probably stop, come back and go all the way around again a couple of times just so that it's nice and sturdy, and that's going to be our next step. I'm going to go over to the machine and I'll take you there. Okay, and we're back. I'm hoping you can see this okay. I've got my regular presser foot on. Now on here there are all types of measurements that will tell you 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/4, and then it'll also give it to you in centimeters. I'm doing this about 1/2 inch from here. I cannot read these at all, so I am going to be about 1/2 inch out, and I'm going to start, find my foot pedal. Sorry guys, it's all turned around in here. I haven't sewn in here in a while. Okay, and so we're going to do this, and I'm going to move my stitching down so it's going to be at a little bit slower stitch. I need to change because I was earlier in free motion, and my standard on this machine is a 4.5. It's a smaller stitch for some reason. Most of your machines, a 2.5 and like a 2.0 are your standard stitch, and that is what you're going to want to use on here as a standard stitch. Now we're going to do a couple of stitches, and then we're going back a couple of stitches just to lock it in. We're going to come around to the edge, and remember we're trying to make a 1/2 inch seam, so I want my needle to be about a 1/2 inch away from the end. And now we're going to come, I've turned and pivoted. Take out your pins as you get to them. You do not want to run over your pins. They will make a mess of your machine. And just keep doing a nice straight stitch all the way down. I'm going at a nice steady pace. If you find this is too fast for you, then slow your machine down a little bit. Get it to where you're comfortable with it. Now we're coming up to another corner. And so we're going to look at about a 1/2 inch out and turn. Now we're going to sew another down this next side, about a 1/2 inch. Taking my pins out as I go so I don't sew over them. Come down about a 1/2 inch. That's a little more than a 1/2 inch. A couple more stitches. Good. Let's turn. And if you want to, you can always keep checking to make sure that your edges are all okay. As you get to your pin, slow down a little bit, take your pin out, put it back in your pin thing. Get almost to a 1/2 inch away and turn. Now we're back on our very first side that we sewed. Remember, we want to leave an opening to this. So there is where I want to leave my opening to. I'm going to come down, stitch back. Now you can go take this and turn it and just follow this all the way back. On a pillow, I would double stitch. Oh, my bobbin's messing up on me. Kind of tease it out. I always keep a little small pair of scissors around, something that's pretty sharp, so that you can get under here and cut your thread. And let's see, no, just still got a little bit of bobbin left in there, probably just enough. And we're going to come back around. Once again, locking in our stitches, stitching all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfect if you're not right on there. You just want it close. All this is for is so that you're strengthening this, because this is the only seam that's going to be holding this pillowcase together. And I've got a thread, my bobbin thread in the back. Here we go. Let's come down this next edge. Hopefully this machine is not too loud for you guys. Spin and turn again. This is the last full size side that we're going down. It's all sewing all the way down, and then we're going to turn our corner. And I'm going to come down around. And I'm going to lock my stitches. I'm going to cut this. Now, the next step you're going to do is these corners here. In order to make them turn, I am going to do what's called clip my corner, and I'm going to cut a little triangle, and I've left some fabric over that corner piece. I hope you guys can see that. And you're going to do that to all 4 corners. And this will help with turning your pillow inside out. Okay, so now we have those. Now we're going to go to our piece that we've left open. We're going to reach inside, and I like to, as I'm turning, to get up to my corner and kind of push it through. Same thing with this one. Get my fingers up into that little corner, push them in, and I'm going to pull them out. Get your finger all the way up in there, turn it out. These are big enough corners that they'll pretty well turn on you. But for your pillowcase might be a different size. So all you're going to do is remember, measure across both ways, and that's going to give you the dimension you want for your pillow. Because you want this pillowcase snug. You do not want it. So material wise, you can use anything, jeans, if you've got an old sheet, anything that you've got, if you just want to try this, or you can go out and buy material. Right now I know it's kind of hard to get to the store. And so here is our pillowcase, and these ends that we have here, when we go back over to stuff our pillow, I am going to just take my iron and I will do what's called a finger press. I will press it with my fingers, and that will make it so, because this is the last edge that we're going to stitch, and we're going to hand stitch that edge, so then we can talk about maybe some hand stitching. So we're going to go right here. Let me just grab my pillow and I will you can press it with your iron if you want to. Now comes the fun part. Now we're going to take our pillowcase and start with one corner and start pushing it in there. And we're going to struggle. I'll try to get this in the camera. And of course that spot is a lot smaller than your pillow, so you're going to struggle to get it in, but it will all go in. Just keep pushing, using your hands, fighting it. Like I said, it's much easier with a pillow form, but this one that we had. And today we're just doing a simple, basic pillow cover. We've got one corner about in. I'm going to push my hand in there to kind of help push all of this down. Push it up against your body. Make sure you're getting it into the corners. I want this to take up every area of this. Like, see this corner? I still don't have it all the way in there, so I'm going to grab some of the material and keep working it into that corner. Make sure we got all our corners. And now what we're going to do is bring two sides together, and we're going to pin them. And we're going to come down to the next one, fold that to the fold line we made, fold line, and pin. Make sure this is folded under. And we're going to pin. And we're coming down to our last one. So we've got our fold line. And we're going to pin. See, I still have a little bit here, but I don't want to force it into those until I get. Now this is going to be a real fluffy little pillow. You could put all kinds of little things on it, but this right now at this point is just a basic pillow. Okay, I'm going to get all my stuff together and I'll show you how to hand sew it. Okay guys, we're really close to the end down here, so I figured I'd bring you guys back. I'm just about to the end and I'm still getting both sides. Now this pillow for washing, if you're doing a closed seam, you would just throw the whole pillow into the washing machine. When we come to the pillow I'm going to show you guys on my next video, we're going to do one that is removable, and that would be great if you wanted to do one with applique. So if you wanted like a seasonal pillow and you wanted to make it so you could change the pillowcase on it, much easier to change the pillowcase than to get a whole new pillow. And so I hope you guys try this, make one today, show me, put pictures on there. If you would, go to my Sew Euphoria page and add your photos on there, that would be great. Or leave a comment under this. The comments help me expand my channel. I think what they call it, channel. Okay, so now we're all the way down. I'm going to go a little bit past where my regular stitching was, so that I'm just doing it for protection. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in between both. You can put your finger in the loop so it doesn't, you don't pull it too much. I hope you guys can see this. I've got my fingers, let's see, I got my fingers in the loop. I'm going to put the needle through the loop and pull it tight. And I'm going to do this a couple of times to secure this end. Pull it again. Let's do one more just for. And then rather than just cutting it, what I like to do is stick it in the fabric and bring it further out and away from there, and then clip it You guys see where I'm clipping? Right up next to there. And then that way it's all secure in there. And so now, easy peasy. And now we're just going to take and work some of that batting in there, and you know, as much as you use a pillow. Start working some of that batting in there. Okay. And there we have it. We have our pillow. And it is all ready to be used. It is nice and fluffy. You got new fabric. It can be thrown in the washer and dryer. And you don't have any worries. This is the back side of it. And so remember, measure across. Kind of flatten your pillow as you're doing it. Measure it across. I gave it about a ½ inch extra because remember, we're going to have a ½ inch seam. So I made it at 13.5. For all your things, make sure you have right sides together when you're putting your fabric together. So all the way around, remember to leave that place so that you can stuff the pillow in. Now it's your turn. I want you to go and make a pillow and have fun doing this. Sewing is a lot of fun. And then when you're sitting down, maybe you are at your machine and you want to do this. And then the hand sewing, maybe you can do that tonight if you're sitting down watching TV, waiting, you know, the kids are asleep and you need it nice and quiet or whatever. But that's all you're going to do is slip it. And there's our seam where we sewed it together, where we stuffed our pillow. And so now we have one pillow. Thank you. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you go out and make a pillow. Let me know, especially Beth. I'm calling you out here, honey. She's one of my friends that's been bugging me about making a couple of videos for beginner sewers. So this is very beginner. You've done 4 seams. You've done a little bit of hand sewing. You've used your machine. So I think you guys are going to accomplish this. If not, send me a little, ask me questions. I'll be there to answer them for you. That's what I'm here for, is just to help you guys and try to make it as slow as possible, because I know when you're learning something new, it's like, what? Okay. But don't be afraid to ask questions. All right, this is Nancy Lynn, and have a great day. Bye.